Hmm. There it is. Well, all right. So Yasini is we in this high energy ass platform, and we can't touch each other or see each other than our cameras, but the energy is flowing already.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to give you an example of what you're going to be feeling as we progress through this. I don't even know what to call it. What did I call it? I said the return of the womb man, and I was trying to compare it to like the four horsemen or something, only on the matriarch side. So I hope y'all don't mind me calling y'all womb men. And it is the return. And so I'm gonna start this show off with the poem that I did not write, but it touched me in a way I thought, somebody else might want to get some of these gems. Okay. So here we go. It's called Today I'm Thankful, and it's written by the goddess Antoinette. So I'm thankful for what sanity I have, for what health I have, for what power I have, for what faith I have, and for what family I have, for what connections I have, for what community I have, for what devotion I have, for what wisdom I have, for what knowledge I have. Yeah, I'm thankful. So I'm thankful for what possessions I have, for what environment I have, for what leisure I have, for what freedoms I have, for what grace I have, for what glory I have, for what privileges I have, for what pleasure I have, for what wellness I have, for what support I have. I'm thankful. And so I'm thankful for what work I have, for what divinity I have, for what opportunities I have, for what intellect I have, for what creativity I have, for what peace I have, for what joy I have, for what contentment I have. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for what emotional range I have, for what spaciousness I have, for what flow I have, for what talents I do have, for what skills I have, for what abilities I have, for what destiny I have, for what humanity I have, for what heart I have, for what woman in me I have. I'm thankful. I'm
Yes.
thankful for what essence I have, for what nature I have, for what innocence I have, for what delight I have, for what softness I have, for what genius I have, for what gifts I have, for what brilliance I have. I'm thankful. And so I'm thankful for what lineages I have, for what inheritance I have, for what glory I have, for what gratitude I have, for what blessings I have, for what celebrations I have, for what strength I have, for what challenges I have, for what evolutions I have. I'm thankful. Yep. And I'm thankful for what beauty I have, for what expression I have, for what art I have, for what longings I have, for what illumination I have, for what mystery I have, for what sweetness I have, for the truth that I have, and all that my body, heart, womb, and tears can't express in words. I appreciate and I give thanks. Ashe from the goddess Antoinette.
I say.
All right.
Ashe. That was,
Peace,
yeah, I like
goddess,
that.
goddesses. Yeah, that pretty much
That's
summed up
powerful.
everything, huh?
That's
Great
powerful.
Yes.
affirmations. Great. She should put it in a song. But I saw it and I messaged her. I asked her if I could read it on my next live. She said, yeah. And so
So powerful.
Gratitude.
that's what.
Yeah.
Also, before y'all introduce yourself, just letting it be known that Arnola Booze is in the house. Cherie Reed L is in the house again, always, as she was the first one in. Musicland HQ82 is always in the house. Brandon, Marcus, peace and love to you. And I was going to say, we definitely are going to continue where we were at the other day with a little extra in there, meaning we goddesses, we matriarchs, we talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about. Okay. So with
Yes.
that being known, that being said, let's go, girls, and we can start from our eldest to the youngest. So you know who you are.
Uh-huh. Okay. I am Shari Berry, better known as Charbet online, and I love life. I'm into art, music, and I'm also into gardening. Um, the only thing that I want to emphasize that whatever love I have, whatever experience that I can help someone with, that I give it to my sisters and my brothers, but my sisters especially,
Mm,
so that's it.
that's what's up. That's what's up.
That's what's
So
up.
so she just forfeit her next goal. So Jillian, what up?
Hey, peace, peace, everybody. I'm Jillian, also known as the Word Witch. I am a lyricist, musician, intuitive, spiritual therapist. I do energy healing, and I'm a Gemini, so I'm gonna talk my shit. So yeah.
You're in the right place, right time. Lima is back. What's up, goddess?
Greetings and salutations to the bloodline. Greetings and salutations to the chat and the panel, of course. You can always find me on Yasini in the House, as usual. You can also find me on my Facebook page, Salima Ellis. You can also find me on Instagram and my own YouTube page, Salima Ellis. I keep it plain and simple. You can always find curriculum, poetry, insightful, whatever you think you want to discover, I got it. So yeah, we're gonna dig in tonight to some matriarchal love and convo. Let's get to it.
All right, let's dive right in because Jillian, you
Mhm.
know I did my homework,
Okay.
and I gotta ask, um, this chanting, there's levels to this shit.
Oh yeah,
Indeed,
absolutely.
right?
Yes.
Levels
Like,
to everything.
yeah, I'm not gonna just start aspiring overnight because I did a chant, right? But I will feel something, right? Or I
Yeah,
probably wouldn't do it again,
absolutely. That
right?
was
Yeah.
one of the things I asked you. I was like, what did you like tactically feel?
Right.
Because that's how so much of I don't know, I allow my messages from my body to talk to me,
Mhm.
and because most of my experiences too was a lot of magnetic fields, it was a lot of tactile. It was brand new sensations. Like I felt like it's interesting. Last week I was saying that I used to describe myself like Weekend at Bernie's, right? The movie where the man, he's dead, but whatever, I don't remember exactly the storyline, so I don't remember if they said it was voodoo, whatever it was, but when his body would hear music, his body would respond to the rhythms. So
Right.
I thought about it earlier today, and I was like, yo, I would literally describe myself as a dead person who music brought to life. And I don't
Mm,
know, I guess that's kind of how I actually feel. So
mm,
chanting was def in the line to that. And that's what even like the hooks are. It's just chanting the repetitive hook part that's meant to like keep you caught into
right.
the song. So and we use chant way more than we realize, but to feel, I don't know, the power in my own voice like that, um, definitely was, and continues to be uh, an awesome part of my journey. So I'm just glad that you like it. Like that's what's up, because it's
Listen,
awesome.
Michael Jackson did a chant for 10 hours. I sent it to you. Did you
Yes,
see that that was a 10-hour Mama
I
Say, Mama Sa,
did.
Mama
I
Sa?
did. I did.
Ah, yeah.
Listen, there's times in that chant where he's still saying the same thing. And I noticed in your chant too, like you'll start off a way and then it's like like you're having fun, like fine tuning or switching it, or you're saying the same thing, but you're doing it a little different here, and then you'll move it up, and you're like having fun with it. Are you?
Okay, so
Yes.
that's not I actually shared a chant that Tina Turner did as well, right? And
Yes.
so a lot of people, when you see them when they chant, especially in front of people, you'll hear the tempo change up like that. And quite
Mm-hmm.
honestly, um, okay, let me break this down. That's not always a voluntary thing. That's the energy taking me. So
Hmm.
when we say
Oh.
vibrate high or vibration, that means to spin. That's what that actually means. It means to spin. So if you look at like the emotional chart, right? Because these emotions are actually registering as a number. So when you have lower emotions like fear, guilt, shame, those are slow rotating
Oh.
emotional numbers, and it's like quicksand. This is why people who are depressed physically feel heavy, because thoughts weigh a thing. They're that
Hmm.
powerful. So you can be weighed down by your own thoughts. You could really just be in here and ruminate yourself into straight up like consummation of yourself. Is That's how I used to be. That's how bad it was for me. So I had a powerful mind either way. I just was never really taught to use it. I don't know. I didn't even understand like that there was choosing thoughts before all of this started. So the higher emotions spin much faster. That's like when people are elated and hyper and excited, right? It's moving
Mm-hmm.
faster. So these things, remember, they're seeded sounds, so they're packed with power. So when you start really tapping in, even when I just regularly meditate, after some time you'll start to see my body take a swirl, because that's like feminine energy, they say, moves counterclockwise, right? You'll this It's really an electromagnetic, an atomic spin. So you
Mm-hmm.
are actually speeding up your vibration when you chant, meaning is putting you on a different frequency. So if
Mm-hmm.
you connect that to law of attraction, and you're going to attract and pull in everything that's on that frequency and that
Yes.
spectrum, this
Absolutely.
Hmm.
is raising your frequency so that you can embody it. You want to embody the frequency. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel like these chants do. So that's not really, I don't know, it's not something that like I'm even consciously doing when I start speeding up. That's it's that powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It's that powerful. It's like it becomes an engine. And so the more that you do it too, I don't know, the brain, you could, I'm able to feel like my brain waves shifting, and how powerful the energy is that's coming out of it. And then when I first started, I, when I realized other people were being affected too, I would ask the same question, like, what did you feel? Because it was giving me, a different angle. Um, so I could understand it also with other people. But yeah, that's what that is. It You will feel it, and it becomes like a dance of consciousness that you realize that you're able to affect with your own vocal cords. So it's a very powerful practice. But and as you stated, it's levels. So it's definitely something that the more that you understand and accept chant into your life and do it more, it's the more it just begins to develop the way we practice anything. And you know what I'm saying? And it develops. So yeah,
That's great.
thank you.
Okay, Charbay or Salima, do either of you want to add value to what Jillian was saying, or you want to branch off onto your own feelings of meditation or what you do that where you can feel what Jillian be on? Okay, Jillian be riding. I'm telling you.
Yes, Sister, I'll go if you don't mind. Um, I first seriously start meditating when I was in China with my students. Every class that came in, the students had to meditate at least 3 minutes. I had to put a time limit on it. But I found that my students were so in tune and so into it that I had little bitty first graders, doing this, but they practiced that. They had their own little way of doing things and they were totally into the meditation, totally into it. But they began to feel me. And so we would just 3 minutes every class. And I had lots of class, 400 students. We'd meditate
Mm.
every day that I had them in my classroom. So it became a practice. And that's when I first started getting into it. And before then, my son my son is into meditation, and he likes the Eastern form of meditation. So one summer before he left to go into the Navy, he and I and a couple friends of mine, every Sunday we'd go to a different place. We'd go to a Buddhist temple. We'd go to the Unity Church, just searching, because at that time I was trying to find my place, trying to understand what spirituality really was about. So we did that for the whole entire summer. And when it all ends up is that it's me. It's always been me. It's been within me the whole time. That spirit that lies within, because I am a spirit that has a soul that lives in an avatar.
Mhm.
So I found myself that way
Mm.
and begin this process along the way. Yes. Okay,
Mhm.
that's it.
It's amazing.
And Salim will be so high. Offer something. Offer something. Share it with us. Share it.
Okay, I do have a question for Jillian based on the chanting. In the last live, she spoke about transcendental meditation to help us focus and the difference between really making a decision and our preference. And we hear a lot of times, if you go on, the social media, people talking about their preference, and often our inability to focus enough to make a decision. So, what is the difference between a preference and a decision when it comes to being more focused?
Niggas break from it any way that you I'm can. Sorry. It only take a few steps to
Well, I would say the boundary line, and it's how much focus you're willing to give. So, I remember asking someone, can you hold your projection over everybody else's? Because, right, like one thing that I feel like social media causes people to do a lot is compare themselves, and that can be very detrimental because I feel like we all really have our own lane and our own uniqueness and so much to bring. And I remember when it was detrimental to me because I remember at one point I would be like, "Ugh, well, what do I even have to say that nobody else is saying?" And somebody was like, "What?" They were like, "What? Like, do you hear so?" And I couldn't because I was drowning in all these different preferences. Um, so as far as when I started, when I said I'd prefer something, I'd be easily knocked off of it. So I didn't really hold it. It's kind. I would compare it to like the King of the Rock game when we were little. You wouldn't just let somebody push you off the rock. You really fought to stay on top of the rock. And so when you have a mindset, an ideology, so one of the first ones that I tried on was I'm going to have a good day today. And at first, when I did it, like, somebody would get on my nerves and then they would be like blaming right away why I didn't rein back in my own emotional standard at that point. You know what I'm saying? And how long I chose to be annoyed. It's like, I think, is it Dwyer that has a book called Intention? And he describes thoughts like being like that the thing on at the fair, you know what I'm saying, that rides above your head, people ride above your head. And he's like, you can those are like thoughts. and you can just watch them go by and see where they lead, or you can grab onto one and it can take you all over the place. But wherever it takes you, like, are you super prepared to go? So when I stopped placing or allowing my focus to bleed out to everybody else's preferences, that's when I was able to stick with my decisions. That's when I was able to focus. When I actually made a choice, actually truly made a preference. Like, yes, we got preferences all day, but what is actually available to me at this moment? Like, what can I hone in? What can I work on right now versus just being in the sea of consciousness? Because you can, I told somebody the other day, sometimes you have to choose which rabbit holes you go down. You can't just be down every rabbit hole in this matrix because you'll just be forever. It's umpteen things, you know what I'm saying? But what am I here to focus on? What is my soul craving to experience? What is it that I feel like I should do next? And really drowning out like what people's preferences or opinions are. There's a lot of stuff. I know um like I was grateful to hear you say, that you have the space and allowance and expansiveness, like when, when I do go into my erotic poetry, erotic talking, but I know a lot of people don't. And a lot of people they still cringe up inside. You know what I'm saying? So it's not their preference to to always um I don't know, experience that energy, right? Within writing or something like that. But that's why I'll tag mine in the beginning or whatnot. It's erotic poetry. So scroll if you're gonna lose your mind. But it's still my decision. It's still my decision to operate in wholeness. Like I was telling somebody yesterday, I don't I don't want to have this cookie crisp cutter. I don't want nobody to ever have that ideology. This has been like a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And I really feel like presenting myself in wholeness. Take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying? But this is really what it is. So I'm not going to ignore the fact that I'm a sensual being. I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to suppress it. No, because every time I did that, it caused other issues within my blockages of my energy center. So I just rather just operate in all of it. So sometimes that's how I transmute that energy. If I can't physically do it, I'll talk about so, it's like and for some people that's even helpful for them because how many spaces do we really have healthily for people? Most people learned about sex through porn. So, you know what I'm saying? Where are the healthy spaces?
Denise,
Yeah, I'm not hearing.
I'm sorry. Did you see the post I had up there from Brandon Marcus? It
No,
said
I'm sorry. I don't know why I never get the
it
messages.
said she has mapped her mind to body complex. Did you do that?
Yes.
Did you
Yes.
map it yourself?
Okay, so um myself, the experiences definitely, I would say definitely my journey with psychedelics,
Mhm.
um, meditation. But yes, yes, I have mapped my mind. And I used to say you gotta make your brain your bitch. And I feel like to do that, you have to map it. You have to really understand how your shit works and
Mhm.
ask yourself, like one of the things my brother used to say, he used to say, no matter how hard that shit might hurt when somebody say something and you feel that resistance start up in you and you want to be like, stop and ask yourself, is there a possibility that this thing is true?
Mm.
Oh, when I started doing that, it was like, oh shit. And then I
Right.
could see, right? Because the shadow and things like that are not always like easily seen. And it's always your mind rationalizing to you, right? Whatever perspective fits you best at that moment. So to really be able to like, I don't know, keep pulling the mirror on myself, like Oshun, like really self-reflecting, yes, I had to map it out. Absolutely. But the sensitivity that also came upon me as I had my first awakening, that also did help because yes, the sensations would lead me. You know, I was learning by tactically touching things sometimes,
Mm.
or like I don't know, all of my senses just went kaboom. So so I was learning through each sense. Like if I focused my eye on something, it would almost be like getting pulled into the thing. So I would experience myself as the thing. So as the leaf, as the butterfly. And so I guess it was helping me to like map my mind that there's no difference between us. And then that would lead me to other things like Zandoric phenomenon. We really are element, plant, animal, man, spirit,
Yeah,
all of that.
yeah.
So yeah, so yeah.
So, so you are the word witch, and you did write a poem about you, a mushroom experience that you were on, and I was on that ride.
Yeah.
I was experiencing my first mushroom trip without even doing no mushrooms
Oh wow.
by reading your poetry about it.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
going deep. I was
Um,
like,
I
this is
I
so.
did have a woman tell me that she felt like she took a contact trip with me. Like we I think she's in another country, but we were just on the phone and she said she felt like she was traveling. So
Yeah.
um
So if
yeah.
y'all want to know why we making such a big deal about the word witch, then go look at some of her Facebook posts, and you'll see that we're not
Mhm.
exaggerating nothing.
Not
Thank
at
you.
all.
Appreciate it. Oh my
Not
God.
exaggerating. She really
Thank you.
is the word witch, and
Thank
she's
you.
also the odd octopus. So you've got 8 places to feel your tactiles, or what are you doing with all of those arms,
um
or whatever
well,
they're called, tentacles? Sorry.
tentacles, yeah.
Yeah.
Um well no, like so that people must be like, what octopus? So
Do you, do you
with
have
that,
8
right?
personalities, Jillian? Do you
I
have
don't
a
know I
personality
don't
for
know how
each?
many is in here. I don't know how many is in. I'm shout out for real. Like people gonna see some. I don't know. I feel like I'm still working on definitely like coming out of my shell. But that's all of what this energy is helping me to do um to really show up confidently for myself in this life for the first time ever. And so I feel like um whatever attention is being given is because I'm supposed to tell a story. You know what I'm saying? It's not even really about me. It's about us. Like, because when I started experiencing these things and I started making these poems, I was like, yo, we really are the stuff of legends. It's amazing. It's mind blowing. Um, and a lot of us are coming from Christianity. So Hosea, I think it's 4 verse 6 says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. But we have 46 chromosomes. You know what I'm saying? And ever since I have come into more and more and more knowing of myself, I've watched just so much change. So that's what it's for. It's so I can, speak life back into people and just play whatever part as the vessel I'm here to play. Like, cause I don't know. I'm still mind blown about everything. So I super appreciate that, and I super appreciate the support, ladies, and also like the guidance, like because community and sisterhood is a thing that I was definitely asking in spirit for. So I'm very very grateful. Very grateful.
All right. So let me switch the topic just a second, unless somebody else got something for Jillian. But I wanted to go over to move to Charbet because she lived in fucking China.
Yes.
Did y'all know that? I know I couldn't have did it. I couldn't have did it over there, especially going over there by myself. And so let me ask you, what are we missing? What are we tripping as Black Americans or people in the West? Do we be tripping for real, or they just say that and just don't like us? I know I put it on you.
Yeah, it
Are
was.
we tripping? Are we tripping?
I
According
feel
to in China, and China's pretty big, so we've got a pretty nice comparison, right?
Right.
So
And I visited a lot of these safaris, different places like Vietnam and all. But what I found is everything that they say is not here, is not true. And then they also have some misconceptions about us. Does racism exist there? To an extent, but it's different. Yeah, hard to explain, but I felt more freedom when I was there than I did in the US, and that's a lot to say.
who
But I
would they be
felt,
racist to? Who would
huh?
they who would they be racist to? Their own people, or there's blacks over there, because I know everybody like to hate us. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Hold on. Shout out to the realist McCoy who was in the house. I'm sorry it took so long, but yeah. So we the bad guys, or we just get the
They,
blame all the time.
they could be racist to their own people, to us, to believe it or not, white people. I said it on a session in school about racism against them with between the students and the American students, and it was real issues there that they have never experienced before. So yes, but it's like I said, it's different. It's only I still felt a freedom that I've never felt, and you'll find that most people that have lived overseas, they'll tell you basically the same thing. There's a different kind of freedom when you get outside of the US because people they're curious about you. Definitely. I'm gonna tell you a story when I was up in near Beijing. Um, I was walking down the street and this guy was watching me and he watched me the whole time he ran into a tree. They're so curious about you. And then everywhere I went, they wanted my picture. And they would just and sometimes they wouldn't ask me. I had a lady give me her baby and took a picture with her baby. It's,
You
so
you're a
it is.
sniper.
I'm
Wow.
serious. I mean, there were places that I could not go without people trying to take a picture of me. And it's not just because I am a woman with color, but anybody that was foreign. But I got a lot of it. They stop you, picture, picture.
Wow.
Yeah, Japan is a little different. They're used to foreigners, but in China, it was a whole different ball game. And in fact, I felt like a movie star when I first got there. It's like, woo, you can take my picture, okay? But no, but it's a difference. It's a big difference. It's a freedom that you don't have in the States. You're not worried about, you know, if you walk down the street and look wrong or whatever. You're just free. You're not there's nothing holding you back. And which surprised me mostly. It surprised me most of all, you know, the freedom that I
Mm.
I,
found there. Yes.
I'd like to speak on that because a lot of the propaganda that we received here when COVID went down was that they were like really mistreating people of the diaspora. They hated you. You were we were the reason that that COVID was even happened. So this was the propaganda that was pushed to us that this is how China was reacting, that it was our fault and that they were officially just tearing up black folks left and right in Asia. So it was like we get these different pictures, these different narrative, negative propaganda, and these biases of other countries, and they'll say this is how China feels about us, or this is how Africans feel about us, or this is how, and they push that to us regularly. So I appreciate you have been giving us this different view, like this is not what was going on, but I guarantee it, they were pushing the most negative narrative about China to us as a people here in America over these devices, through the news, through the
Right.
media, through the CDC. It was just the worst. We were the worst, and China was the worst.
Mhm.
You see,
Yeah.
so it was like, so to get these different perspectives, this is really eye opening. These are the perspectives that our people need to see that this is not what you think it is. It really is a harmful uh, propaganda that's being pushed out across the realm, and not just towards against us, but against everybody for whatever reason. And I'm starting to think that they would push that so that we wouldn't travel to
Mm.
experience these things. Because if you can preemptively give our people fear, like this is how they're going to treat you if you go here, or this is how they're going to treat you if you go there, and it's nothing like that, we're losing out on people having these wonderful experiences now.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I thank you, goddess.
Yeah, it was definitely some prejudice, but it was different. It was not the same. And
Right.
you did have the freedom to go about. They were curious and they might want to come up and talk English to you to see if to practice with you. So it was a different kind of vibe. It's hard to describe, but I thoroughly loved living in China. I'm tell you right now, I did. I loved it. I and if I'm too old now, but if I could go back and do it again, I'd probably do it for a couple more years. In fact, my contract was not up. No, I had just signed a contract for 3 more years for way more money than I've ever made as a teacher, and I gave it up because it was fear within me because I didn't know what was going to happen. And I felt that, and I don't know why I felt this. If I was back in the US, I'd be close to my son and my mother, and I can control the situation. And that's why I came back because I wasn't sure. And I definitely didn't want to take anybody's shot. And I'm out of the country. I had no control. And one thing I hate is not having that control over my body. So those are the reasons I left, not because it wasn't good to me. I loved China. I loved the idea of the travel part because it was cheaper to travel from China than it was from the US to all these different places like Africa, uh, Madrid, you know, all these places that I visited and had to experience had a chance to experience the different cultures that were there. And it's amazing. It's fun.
So Marco Power referred to you as fine wine. Oh, sis, you're fine as wine.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
Jillian,
Yes.
have you ever felt like the Black Madonna? Let me
Oh,
let me
wow.
let me clarify. Let me clarify. Charmaine started it. Charmaine started it talking about them, wanting autographs and all this kind of stuff. One time, I was sitting in a bar, waiting for my friend who was next door ordering some food, and and I swear to God, this white lady came over to me. She grabbed my hand and she kissed it, and then she knelt and told me how glad she was to see me, and then she ushered her boyfriend over, and they both like, no, what the fuck is going on? You know how they did Eddie Murphy on that Coming to America when he was standing in line at the bathroom?
Mhm.
There's certain people out there that something happens and then they wanna talk to you, touch you, kiss your hand. Oh, one more thing. I was at a bar one time again, and just like six people walked in, and one of the dudes, when he walked past me, and this place was crowded like a motherfucker too. He walked past me and he made me high five him, and then just kept walking. And my sister was looking at me like, "What was that?" I don't fucking know. I don't know. But that kind of stuff happens to me, and not just with white people. A black girl came into. Okay, I was at the bar another time. I swear to God, these are widespread out incidents. I was at the bar sitting all the way in the back, and this Vivica Fox looking mofo um, made a V line straight to the back. touched my hair and said, "Don't worry, I'm not gay. I just saw your light when I came in." I'm like, I'm sitting in the bar shining. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, but y'all know, black women, Salima, come on now, help me out.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely received my fair share of that. As a matter of fact, one time I got in an Uber and it was me and my eldest daughter, and the guy was like, "You're like the second coming of the Christ. I am so grateful that I got a chance to meet you. Oh my God. I will, I'm going to introduce," and I was like, "I'm just trying to go to Walmart." I was like, I don't know. But yeah, I've definitely had my fair share of that. And again, I think it's a frequency thing.
Right,
And and yes, for some people they do recognize it, and it brings about a feeling of worship, a feeling of
Mhm.
reverence, a feeling of and a lot of times it's the feeling of healing that your cells can give off. So
right.
like I would tell people, as your light quotient increases, right, how much light you're carrying. They actually have I think it's a machine. I think it's at Yale, if I remember correctly in my notes. But there's a machine where they can measure the consciousness of the earth. And it's like these lights. You see these lights all over the place.
Wow.
And if you remember that movie Cocoon, remember you had the older people, and when they put it on, they were like teenagers again, because
Yeah.
that's how the light is, bringing back your inner child, right?
Right.
So, but they when they zipped that off and when they were finished, they were light. So, so if
Wow.
yes, so as your light quotient increases, it is very attractive. It is very magnetic to people. So I think that's why a lot of us this year, our lessons were about boundaries, because
Mm.
you
Oh, yeah.
the light is the light, you know what I'm saying? And it's gonna draw in everything and everybody. But that's why it's up to you, you know what I'm saying, what you allow and what you put in, because there are some that, yeah, they just wanna, cover
And
that light up.
should we turn our light down sometime?
Um, I don't,
Salima said, no, don't ever turn
but
your light down.
I
But
have
it
situational
attracts.
awareness.
We have the ability to what's called cloaking. Like
Yes.
I can walk into a room and not be recognized or anything at all, often because I'm dressed the opposite of what I look like, which is often I might put on my son's clothes, t-shirts or their jeans or stuff, because it's always laying around. You know how men are. So
Yeah.
I'll put that on, and then I could be going to an event where I'm speaking. Oh goodness, yes. And now once I speak, the atmosphere changes because now the cloak is off. The cloak that I was using to stay sort of like incognito, because even though I'm not dressed in my feminine divine or something, but once I speak, it's like, oh no, we know who you is. Look, come here. I want to talk to you about your school. What you know what? And I've just had women or men just come up to me and just approach me, and I've heard this so many times over the years. Why are you so happy? You are just so happy, like you have the most pure smile on your face. What is going on? And I'm like, I'm just in this state of bliss.
Yes.
I don't know how to explain it. When you're in a state of bliss, even when you go into distress, sometimes it's hard to stay in distress.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
the smile stay attached. So people, and people will, and I've had one young lady just came up to me and be like, "You are really happy." Like what's his name? And I'm like, well, right now I don't have a significant other. And she was like, what? And I'm like, no, I'm
Uh,
just in this state. And she just almost couldn't believe it. But so
That's really high vibe.
when that light is up, it's up.
Yes.
Give me butter and salt.
let's say you walking through the
Yeah,
hood.
that's true. And
Say you walking through the hood and your light's just shining. What then? Okay, my hood. I'm in Milwaukee. We have a hood. I know Salima's in Detroit. I don't know about Arizona and Florida, but I have a hood. Okay,
Hmm.
and so
We have one, but I live in the rural area. I live where nobody lives, hardly. Peace,
Well,
peace.
s- so you know how they say love and light, right? And a lot of people were saying that that was only the the positive sides of spirituality, but I never interpreted it that way because light it is also information,
Mm,
right? Light can blind you. You get in front of like one of those laser beam lights and it can chop off one of your limbs. So to think that light is only soft or nice, I've been hit with information that has flipped me before. And now the knowing, I'm saying the truth is rearranging everything and it's not very comfortable through
right,
that change, but I'm still grateful to see the truth of it. So um you it's not so much that you turn down your light, but you learn definitely how to navigate right through this time. But yea, though I walk through the valley of death,
mm,
like I fear no evil. You know what I'm saying? Because you realize like your light tends to be protective of itself. Your light is also your intuition. So it is gonna be that kick when you walk down somewhere and you look somewhere and you like, nah, and you listen to that. That's also a part of your light. So, you know what I'm saying? You just walk with it. You just walk with it and be you. But you definitely through this, I feel like gain more situational awareness, you know what I'm saying? And like how
right.
to navigate and stuff through that so that, um,
I feel like sometimes my light get me in trouble and attracts the opposite type of
mm,
people that I would want to be around.
mhm,
Sometimes they'll see me, and then if I do talk to them, they'll find out my skill level on things like I'm a repair technician, a jeweler. I have like 10 fucking titles, so I just store them all out and just say I'm skilled. Um, they'll talk to me, and then they'll want to talk to me more. They'll want to be my friend, probably for freebies or whatever. But I found that to be uh, I attract a lot of people opposite me, and I know I attract them because I'm doing it, and I don't, unbeknownst to me that I'm doing it. But it's still, I have to stay alone a lot. Let's just say that I spend a lot of time in solitude. I
mm.
don't look for friends. I never did. They always find me, but it's just like sometimes I know that's what they're after. I know they're after. And I wouldn't even call it light back then. I'll just say my knowledge, or they hunting for gems and don't know they want more. I know I know you guys have experienced something similar where
oh,
somebody
absolutely,
wants to grab a hold, and take that ride.
absolutely, and even more so, like I've experienced when I have pulled boundaries and individuated from people, the amount of energy that they put in trying to get back into my energy field, whether it be what I'm saying, constantly discussing, trying to create rumors, all types of stuff, any type of way they can keep themselves relevantly attached to you, you know what I'm saying? Um, but and I would tell people sometimes when they're doing that, it's like they're also creating a black magic web with other people, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But but again, it's everything. It's the whole gamut of the spectrum that we're going to attract, right? So it's not so much that we attract the opposite, is that the light is visible. So yeah, and a lot of times too, it does look like a space of knowing and clarity for some people. I've had some people come around me and say, when I get close to you, all them thoughts that just be there, it just stop.
Mm.
So you know what I'm saying? Sometimes they're not even aware of all the ways that they're moving. So that's why us having the awareness and again about those boundaries is so powerful. um I know how much of my light and my time and my energy I'm willing to give to certain things, but I've also learned through time that I give what I give, but for the most part, um, my continuous relationship should be reciprocal, whether those be friendships, business partnerships, whatever they are, right? It should be reciprocal. So it's like, but that wasn't a boundary that I allowed myself to have before because I didn't even love myself enough to be like, you know what, you actually deserve to get back what you get. Like you know what I'm saying? It was under whatever fake noble ideas, whatever I was spewing at the time, just because I didn't have the boundary. So now I just always view it as I'm always just showing people how I love myself and how they should love me. And it's the same. And I it's the same. Like it's a very principled thing with me. Like I'm never gonna ask more
So
from somebody else what I ask for myself.
Marco Power said, it's not always love and light, it's also hate and dark. And don't forget the 12 universal laws and the law of polarity. And you told me that the other day about the chant. It's like, we're expecting all of these great things to happen when we chant, but you told me that it also come with this, it could come with this opposite polarity.
I mean, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's not that everything is love and light, but it's just like I said, I interpreted it differently. I never
Mhm.
interpreted that it was solely a positive thing because if light blinds your eyes, you're not going to take that as positive. You
Right,
would take that as negative. And sometimes that's how this light can be. It can be blinding. You hear people say your light may irritate their demons. So that's still going to be, you know what I'm saying?
I haven't heard that one before, but that makes
Oh
perfect.
yeah? Oh yeah. They be saying
Yeah,
all the time, like your light can irritate their demons a lot. Like some people, you know what I'm saying? They just you come around them and you just kick up an energy in them, and they don't even really know why. It just be kicking up in their ass.
right,
But but yeah, absolutely. There's the whole gamut of frequencies and spectrums here. So that's why it's about the decision of the one that you would like to experience. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, I don't cookie cutter for people, and I don't have the control issue to make the choice for them. Everybody's soul is here to experience something different, and so be it. You know what I'm saying? It'd be okay with me. It'd be
right,
absolutely okay because you realize too that everybody's in different stages of their soul growth. So I don't even screenshot people a lot just because if you looked at me even 3 5 years ago to who I am now is a complete difference. You know what I'm saying? People could never believe. So this is why I've learned like I don't even screenshot people, but I will make decisions based on how what I'm saying, how it's safe for me to move and what's not um triggering me into negative action. Like I don't even worry about the word trigger because I've been triggered into positive action plenty of times before.
there you
But if
go.
it's like a constant trigger into a nah, then your screen you're not screenshotted. But I don't judge people. I just judge how far the hell away from me they need to stay. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. And so, um, let me switch it over just a little bit. We can always go back whenever we want. But
I
I
had a quick question, right quick, if that's okay. For
absolutely.
Char, I wanted to know, for Miss Char in China, do you speak
Shara's
any of
not
the
even
languages?
here right now. She's
Oh,
not
she
even
left? Okay. All
wants
right.
to-
I just wanted to know if she learned
sure.
any of the language there.
Oh, I think she does speak Chinese.
That's awesome.
I believe she does, but we'll catch it in a minute.
Okay.
Right now, I want to know about y'all's rabbit hole. Did you fall down there or did you jump? Did you jump into the rabbit hole or did you fall screaming and, clinging to shit?
Oh, at first I absolutely fell screaming and clinging because mine was like I said, like I had an awakening that began with me beginning to feel sensations that I had never ever felt before. Um,
Mhm.
so, sorry.
No, go ahead. You're good.
Yeah, I don't know what it did on my screen, but I
It
can't see.
just froze. I could hear her.
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Okay. Um, but I think it's coming back now. Oh yeah, but
Mm.
I absolutely felt kicking and screaming because I didn't know what was happening to me. I had
Okay,
no idea.
somebody's got YouTube on. Or did you jump in twice? Is this you twice, Jillian? No. Yes, it is.
I don't think so.
Okay, let me remove one. Oh, okay. Because it was double clapping.
Hmm.
Did I remove the wrong one? Well, I'm gonna
I don't know.
remove
Yeah,
that.
I'm not seeing it on my screen. I'm gonna come back in again, and then if it's there double, you can.
Cool.
Is it
Gotcha.
still? Yeah, I can hear it.
We got you. Okay.
But yeah, because I wasn't aware of what was happening to me. But once I don't know, I got the momentum kick in, and I began to just trust myself more and more. Then yeah, I was just jumping into my own. You know what I'm saying? It was more and more self discovery. So.
So you failed, and then you liked it and decided to stay there and look around, or what?
um, well, I think through certain stages of my awakening, it was like, how do you turn back? How do you begin to shrink yourself again? Like, how do you go back into a smaller mind space? And I will be honest, like through certain periods of time, I think I was almost trying. I think I was almost trying to go back to um the unexpansive thoughts, but I just felt miserable. It wasn't authentic anymore. It wasn't who I was. I didn't want to just talk about that dumbass shit anymore. I didn't want to just do the same old things. So,
Right. The weather.
yeah.
About
So,
the weather for 2 whole hours.
man. So after some time, it at one point I'll be honest, it felt almost compulsory. Like it became this thing that was burning inside me so bad. Like I had to figure out who am I? Why are these things happening? What does it all mean? What am I supposed to do with it? Because I mean, it wasn't, mine weren't provoked. Like I wasn't trying to sit and meditate. I would have visions. So everything that was happening to me around that time, it would be like I'd be sitting and speaking to you now, and then suddenly I would be seeing something different and I would be inside of it. So I would have a whole experience, what would be considered like a time warp field or something. And I'd come back and it'd just be a few seconds and the person would be like, okay. And I'd be like, "What just happened?" So but I feel like it was my soul communicating with me the whole time. It was just jarring me awake. It was just like leaving me breadcrumbs to find myself. So once you get that in love with finding out who you are, yeah, you're gonna jump in. Cause until you come, like Char earlier said, she did all of this, but she came back to finding out that it's her, inside of her. And
Mhm.
I feel like where all of our journeys are gonna lead us. But those things along the way are definitely gonna teach us things about ourselves and about the soul growth that we've had up until this time, about previous skills, things in our DNA that our ancestors left us. So
Mhm.
it's our own specific puzzle, but it's fire.
Mhm.
It's fire.
Yeah. And so a lot of times when I be laughing, like cracking up laughing, I be reading the chat. I don't be laughing at what you were saying, but the Goddess Original is be cracking me up. Okay, like this. She said she jumped in a rabbit hole, and she said she jumped back out.
Yeah. I mean, I can
That,
relate to that too.
that rabbit hole is so deep. She's a jumping
Mm.
mofo, and she jumped back out, or she must have. As soon as she got in there, she looked around. She hurried up and hit it. I I was pushed. I failed. What the hell? I failed. I was in there. Um, I didn't like it at first. I was hostile to it. I I was hostile to it because I didn't invite it in. It came via social media and a few little questions like, why don't NASA have a real picture of the Earth? What about that Council of Nicaea? Things like that, where I was, I had to deal with my cognitive dissonance, which I battled it right away and won because I gotta know if Jesus is real or not, if this is mythos or not, if it's deity worship or not, if it's the sun against the moon and allegory, I still gotta know. And so now I'm down there. Now I'm down there by my motherfucking self as far as talking to somebody about it. There was nobody to talk to when I went down there. Nobody. Nobody. Social media, none of them. They wasn't even ready then. Okay. I fell
Wow.
down this motherfucker. And oh well, so like 10 or 12 years later, yeah, I live there.
An explosion.
I live in the rabbit hole now. That's my address. What's your address? Yellow Brick Road, some shit. Okay. So Sharberry Jillian had a question for you, and then I want you to answer the question that I asked. Jillian, if you don't
Okay.
remember the
I just wanted to know, did you
And
pick
what
up the
is
language when you were there?
I was again. I was, if y'all talking to me, the chat just took me over again. I'm sorry. Um,
Oh no,
but
I
she
was
wanted to
asking
know.
her if she picked up the Chinese language or any of the
Oh,
dialects. But,
I think she's froze. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think she froze
ah,
again.
okay.
Okay, so here's the goddess original again saying that she mimicked how I speak, and then she said I'm her honorary auntie, which is
That's
my pleasure, goddess original. But Salima, the
yeah.
question is, were you pushed or did you jump?
I was I was whipped into it because
Mm.
I had come into a consciously aware family and I wasn't behaving as such.
Mm.
And
Wow.
when you live in the hood, as you say, I live in the hood. So I felt that my position in my community was secure, being the daughter of my parents, being who I was, being the parent, third generation in my community, actually, living on my street and having my children on the same street.
Mhm.
So, but some very traumatic events happened that made me question my reality and what I thought was my security in my life. And it made me question my parenting. That was the push. A couple of my who I consider very good friends of mine who I grew up with, went to school with. Like I said, we're second, and third generations. My children grew up with them, and on this unfortunate day, two of my very close friends, their sons were killed at the same time. And unfortunately, my son was also with them. Now, he wasn't with them at the time they were killed, but he was with them that day. So there's still a lot of speculation going on and things like that. But it's just that the fear of being a parent, knowing that our children, like we ran wild when we were young. We had fun. We could go across town. We did that. But the generation of my children, there's more fear, especially when there's these incidences that
Mhm.
happen. And at the time that it happened, I was already pregnant with my now uh 8-year-old. So it made me question my parenting. Like, I'm about to have a whole new generation, because he was about to move into adulthood from teenager, and I was about to have a baby
Mm.
that they were going to help me raise,
Wow.
because I came up within the indigenous system that when you have children and you have older children, everybody helps so that mommy can work, mommy can go to school, so the family can function, period. Whatever it is, everybody helps.
Right.
So he was a main component and factor in helping me be successful. Her father and I be successful to be able to go to work and, you know, go to school, and, so we needed him to think about what he was going to be doing with himself, because that was a dangerous situation.
Right.
And I don't think our youth are understanding full consequences almost until it's right up on them. Like, so I felt like I hadn't done my job as a parent. Like, why don't my children understand consequence? Like, do they really have forethought? How do I teach? So, yeah, I was pushed down the rabbit hole because I wanted to become a better parent and a better person, because I mean, I'm in the hood, people
Mhm.
getting killed, my children, anybody, any of us at this time can come and go. It doesn't make a difference. So yeah, I was pushed. I was gently guided at first, and then I wasn't taking the message. I wasn't listening to the signal that, look, this is not for you. This is something else for you. So do these traumatic events. Now I had no choice. I could either stay in the realm I was in, or I could acknowledge what was really going on around me
Mhm.
and go down the rabbit hole. And once I, because I did go down the rabbit hole before, and like she said, I jumped out, like, because I didn't like the rabbit hole. There are so many, like you said, and some of them I felt were like empty.
Mm.
Like they look interesting at first. It seems like it's
Okay.
but then after a while, like, it don't take me that long as a Taurian with logic to say, I hear you, but there's nothing I can utilize.
Right.
So
There's
I
no
had to
there
keep,
there.
yeah. So being a parent, my best rabbit hole that I've been down so far is the homeschool rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I'm loving that, because homeschool isn't just me teaching them; it's me learning all over again
Right.
how to be a parent.
Right. Let me shout out to the chat. And that's Charbet in there saying she jumped. So I suppose she's having a few problems. She said her internet is not connected. Well,
Yeah, it's okay, goddess. We gonna catch the goddess again, because
oh,
we got to get her
absolutely.
back up here.
Absolutely. And we already been jamming like a motherfucker so far. Let me shout out, to the this is the busiest I've ever had it. I'm alive, so I am really, really tripping. Um
Oh, there she is.
Never had it.
I'm
I'm alive,
back.
so I am really, really tripping. All right.
Okay.
Do you have YouTube on? Charbet, turn your YouTube on.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me turn off this.
Yeah. Marco Power, Brandon Marcus, even Music said we're all invited to Jamaica. Look, I'm inviting all you goddesses to Music Land, Jamaica. Yeah. And so all of these people, Cherie, Unoccupied Turtle Island, Marco Power, Goddess Original, Brandon Marcus, all of these people are very, very active, and I love it. And they're keeping my sense of humor up. And thanks for coming out. For real, for real. Thanks for coming out. And I know I didn't, I probably missed some people. That's why, as a whole, You know, here at Yasin in the House, I love all my subscribers, all my listeners, all of them. And so thanks again for making this a show. And we want to do more special things with you. But I think we got something right here. The four of us, we're going to have a talk with Charbay and Jillian, which I know are so busy. But maybe we could come up with something like once a month or twice a month or some shit. Okay. And so, Charbay, you jumped?
I jumped. I jumped. After the death of my father, I began to question things. And my son brought me to, uh, he brought me to a place where I began to question everything that I had been taught. And then it further went, and then I jumped in the hole. I started searching. We start looking. We start trying to figure out things. And then when I went
Wow.
to China, I realized that everything that I had been told was a lie. My
Mm.
students told me, you are our grandparents. We know that. And I was like,
Wow.
what? And I began to look into things. And then I began to notice what was being taught. And I began to change the way I felt about uh, certain things that were taught within the classroom. And then I started jumping, I started searching. And that's when I ran into my Baba, who was teaching me some stuff. And I was like,
Mhm.
wow. And then I realized that the revolution happens in the mind. We are the revolutions in here.
Yeah.
And what the battle is all about is here, is
Hmm.
the mind, the body, the control. And that's how I began this wonderful journey that I'm on. And I feel that every negative or positive lesson, hey, God is original. Um, every lesson that I run into, whether a positive or a negative force. The negative ones, I learned something about myself, how I do it. I learned how, for me, it's about controlling your emotions when, someone is deliberately trying to do things to you and you don't
Hmm.
understand why. And so and then I began to look at my own education and realize that I've been taught to follow directions as opposed to think for myself, think
Yeah.
critically.
Right.
When I
Right.
realized it's like this education, all that I went through was an indoctrination for me. And I was like, wow, I used to think that, but now I know that's not true. And I began to incorporate a little bit of that in my lessons with my students. Even when I was here, teaching here, some of my teenage boys would follow me home and they'd say, Miss Berry, can you tell us about what's really going on? They would stay in my classroom and talk to me about that, the boys.
Right.
And I said, I'm onto something, but here there's more resistance. In China, there was none that I could see.
Mm.
Isn't that
So
interesting?
it is. So you've been waking up for how long?
Oh, for a long time. I
You've
can't
been
count
woke
the
for how long?
years. It started in the early 90s when my father died, about 1994.
Hmm.
And then progressively, more and more information would come. When the student is ready, the teacher will come. And the teacher wasn't outside of me, it was inside of me. So it
Hmm.
came.
Okay.
And then the master student, forever a master student, was there.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Mhm.
sometimes we master students and master teachers at the same time.
At the
And
same time.
sometimes, you know, according to us and what we want, we may surpass our master teachers. But
Absolutely.
the good thing is that it is an individual path and journey for
Yes.
each one of us. It's a little bit different, while
Mhm.
at the same time we still share like certain information with each other that others don't share. So we sort of could have our own language if we wanted to, and just
Yes.
um, and that's yeah, that's why I like to wear like if I'm gonna be out or at an event or something, I like to wear my ankh, letting them know I am not I am not the one. And
Mhm.
and sometimes those symbols talk back to other people, by a T-shirt maybe, or
Mhm.
certain garb that we wear on our head, or like to say, like Christians, they got their cross that they like to
Mhm.
show. And we are individual. We're all here together, but we did come here separately, and we leave separately. And
But real
and
recognize, yeah, real recognize real, and light recognize light.
absolutely,
And I recognize the light that has graced this room,
hmm
you know.
yeah, we speak symbolism.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
without it being a language, without us, sitting there planning and plotting and all of that stuff. It's just internal. And that's what
Yeah.
I like about it. I like when I'm out in public and I see somebody with the unk on. I may just go up and at least say peace and love or whatever. And
Mhm.
it's always worked out favorably. And then the same thing when I'm out, when I got my soft t-shirt on or necklace or
Yeah.
something. It works the same way. And I don't know. We could, I could put the hammer on them and really do something to them with our topics. But being Salima and I hopefully you, Sharpe, we're gonna talk about dreams of one day or now, because I can't wait to see what kind of dreams you're having in China. While you over there, what are you dreaming about over there? The food, uh, the respect, uh, the fact that
I
you're
was
not here. What are
I
you
was
dreaming
at
about?
I don't know, but I do periodically have dreams that come true, and sometimes to the exact thought or dream.
Wow.
I've dreamt some things that have come to pass just as I dreamt it. And then there's some that have a sort of nuance to them. They're kind of sketchy, and I have to figure it out. But when I see it, I see it. I see it. So I have those. You know, haven't
So
had any recently like
are they
that.
lucid? Are they lucid dreams?
I've had one experience. I remember having a lucid dream where I met this being, and I was floating with this being, and I wasn't in my body. It was just light, and it was spectrums of color, and we were floating around the galaxy or the universe, both. And I remember, and this is before I went to China, and I remember when I woke up, this feeling that I had was so great and so loving and so kind that
Damn.
I was overwhelmed for a week or so. I was so overwhelmed. I really was. And we didn't speak, but we spoke. You know what I mean? And I was taken through this universe, and then it was just lights everywhere. I remember that, and I had to figure out what that meant for me. But it was the most beautifulest dream I've ever had in my lifetime,
Damn.
ever. So
That's what's
yeah, I
up.
left my body. Yeah. So I've
So
had.
me and did you watch me and Salima's video on dreams the other day?
I didn't see that one. I'm gonna have to go back and look because I don't always get you ladies, you goddesses live. So I have to
It
go
wasn't.
back. playing.
Yeah, it
I'm
wasn't
playing.
I got a question for you,
it
Goddess.
wasn't live.
Are
Yes.
you a daydreamer?
Yeah.
Sometimes, yes, yes.
Is there a
Sometimes, yes.
difference? What's the difference? One that you walk and one that you sleep, but other than that, are they the same
Other,
vivid or
they're not. I would say they're not the same. When I have a daydream, it's about a piece of art and what it means. It's about what the message I'm trying to give out from my soul, and it becomes so heavy that I have to get out at least a pencil and then draw it out. Otherwise, I become overwhelmed and heavy. It's like I have to do this, you know.
mm,
So when
You
you
have.
daydream, you're receiving a download. Are you receiving a downloads when you daydream?
Yes, yes. That's what I'm
mhm.
doing. I'm receiving a download. Usually when I'm dreaming at night, it's it's trying to tell me something about what's going to go on or what has happened or what's going to happen. But I'm receiving a download on the message that needs to be put out there. Whether people accept it or not doesn't matter to me. I just know I have to do it. I have to.
Are you awake in your dreams? That's a
Sometimes,
question from Cherie Reed, but it's a good one. L.
yeah, sometimes not, but sometimes.
I mean, you know you're in your dream, having a dream.
Yeah, I've had some dreams where I knew I was awake and I I didn't understand the dream, but I knew. And when relatives, my father has come to me many times in a dream, and we talked. And he told me why when I lost my child, um, my dad came to me and he told me, he said, "I'm too weak." And he was representing this child, but he looked like my dad. And he told me, he said, I'm too weak. I'm not going to make it. And the baby didn't make it. My baby didn't make it. So, yes, there was a connection there. Yeah. So, and I was awake,
Damn.
so
Wow. Hmm.
it happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Find yourself looking forward to your next dream,
I
or
do look,
how much do you like dreaming? Is what I'm trying to say.
well, it depends. It depends.
Are
I
some
look
of them
forward
nightmares?
to, if it's a bad experience, like with lions, I understand that um, there's something that I fear and I have to handle that. But
Mhm.
that was a while ago. I haven't had those in a long time. And I have to handle that just thinking about it. It's like when I wake up, I think about what does that mean? What am I thinking about now? How did that make me feel? And then I begin to, first I research what does that symbol means. And then I
Mhm.
begin to figure out what it means to me. And that's how I get my answers, because it's all personal anyway. Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
like numbers. The 444. Uh, I get a lot of
11.
1111, and I am 11 life path. I get a lot of 11s, and I think, okay, so when I seen that, what was I thinking? When I seen that angle of light, because that's what it is. What was I thinking about? What am I trying? What is it trying to tell me? And that's sometimes, most times I figure it out, and it's personal, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Very much so. Very much so.
yeah.
And
Hmm.
so it seems like everybody has their own thoughts on dreams and what dreams is. Because Salima and I touched that subject a couple of times, and they
Hmm.
both pretty much came out the
Yeah.
same way. Salima didn't get her dick one time, and so
That.
she don't no more. You would have to have seen the show. Well, the
Mhm.
first one of the earliest ones we ever did, wasn't it? And I
We
asked
talked
you
about
about dreams.
dreaming.
Yeah, you said you was, you was
I was waiting on my man
waiting on a man to come along, and he hasn't came yet. And so, fuck dreams.
because I've been celibate for quite some time now, and I'm all right with that. And that's what I was saying. So in our last session, the goddess and I, we did a live the other night on. Well, it was a recording. We were actually just talking, and the goddess
Right.
decided to go live, but we were talking about dreams, and I was
Mhm.
saying how I didn't like nighttime dreaming, but I love
Mhm.
my daytime dreaming because that was the time when I received my downloads and I
Mhm.
felt that I was the most, creative and peaceful. Whereas my nighttime, I usually am a blank slate because when I do dream, is I feel like it's a mental assault. It's disconjointed and it's very disturbing. So I had also discussed that I felt like it was a contract I wasn't willing to continue. So, Goddess, since the last
Mhm.
time we talked, I've been trying and learning to come up with a manifestation to break that contract, to
Mm,
void the contract. Because
Mhm.
I had a lot of people come to me and say, "Well, don't you want to just have better dreams?" I said, "No, I already have great dreams when I daydream.
right.
I don't want the contract to nighttime dreaming anymore. I'm not willing to delve into the relationship to see if it'll work. At this point, I want a divorce."
And, yeah, and you had good reason.
Right.
Definitely had good reason.
So
Yeah.
that's been what I've been working on since we did the video the other night on dreaming, that I'm looking for ways to divorce the contract with dreams, especially the evening time program that I was given to say that when I go to bed at night I should be dreaming,
Mhm.
Mhm.
which I don't think is, like I said, I believe that was a program given to me that I do not agree with. And it was given to me as a child, as a matter of fact, just like that freaking Social Security card, without my
Mhm.
being able to consent, if that's a program I even wanted to, or a contract I could consent to.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
Well,
that's been my goal. And when I come up with that manifestation, I'm going to let you know what it is and let you
I
know
want to
whether or
know.
not
Yeah.
it's,
so,
because I want to be black void every night when I go to bed. No more AI imagery. And I think that's my biggest problem, is because I
mhm,
love being in the ascended mind that I am. And I feel like this dreaming process is affecting me, where I'm already in the flow. I'm already on, this tidal wave of knowledge, and where
Mhm.
I realize that this is one of the relationships I haven't put a boundary on.
mhm.
Yeah.
That's a good reason, though.
Yeah. It
She
is a
thinks,
great reason.
yeah, AI and all of their predictive programming and all of that shit that they've been flashing at us, throwing at us, and now through the social medias and all of that can have
Mhm.
some effect on, like, when you go to sleep. Like, some of that shit stay with your subconscious mind and maybe
Mhm.
play back unbeknownst to you. And that's why a lot of us can't interpret our dreams. We don't even try because
Right.
they're, like she said, skewed by the media or by
Right.
them people.
So
Yeah.
it's been skewed by horror movies. Like, we live in a nation that loves to scare people, scare children.
Hmm.
So I feel like
Real
these are
life.
all the things that I'm not interested in. If, and like I said, they
Mhm.
normalize death, murder, and horror in your mental. And I know that's not something ordinary people, Homo sapiens, shouldn't be experiencing that in their mental. So
Hmm.
when I get into, like, I've even had this conversation with my mother and sister where they were talking about this show they love, and I'm like, look, I can't watch that, and they were like, well, you can't tell the difference. And I'm like, listen, this is me using my discernment and saying, I'm not going to put that in my mind. I don't care how great you say it is or what. I don't
Mhm.
care what it is. This is me using my discernment to give myself boundaries and protection from this AI and say, I'm not going to put that in my mind.
Mhm.
And at some point, I wasn't able to do that. So now, as an adult, I have to be like, I
Yeah.
just don't want to watch that. I just don't want to. There are certain things I've read over the years I wish I had never read. Like, what the hell was this garbage? Like, people are putting stuff to paper because they have the ability to freaking write.
Mhm.
Right.
So it's like, I want to unassault my mind. I want to start giving it the therapy I need to heal
Mhm.
from this traumatic relationship of nighttime dreaming, because daytime dreaming to me is the bomb. I can
Yeah.
control my daytime dreaming.
Right.
What I want, require, and desire comes right to me. The
Yeah.
downloads, the uploads, the inloads, they come right to me. It is a wonderful experience.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And the only time I have a problem at night is when I'm dreaming. It is not something I want to experience. So at night, I'm usually in a black void.
Mhm.
Now, in the void, my experience is different because now my mind is empty. There's no AI. So I don't know how I'm able to do that, but it's been getting stronger and stronger. There's
Mhm.
something about being, for me, in the void where I do not see images
Mhm.
from the AI or from the outer realm in my mind when I'm asleep at night.
Right.
So I know for whatever reason I should be in a black void because there's something there that is so powerful. I just can't explain it. And it's like the dreams are almost sent as a way to deter me from the void.
Mhm.
So that's why I don't enjoy dreaming, so to
Mhm.
speak, because not only is it violent, it's keeping me from something from which I do desire
Right.
at night, which is the black void.
Mhm.
Hey, we've been graced with Dr. Michael Passio in the house. Okay.
Greetings.
And yeah, I'd love to pick your brain one day, Michael. You know you're
Right.
welcome to come on the show anytime.
Well, I like what Marco Power is saying. Like he said, I don't like that horror flicks anymore for this reason. It doesn't belong in my subconscious.
Right.
Right,
You know,
right.
my mom has um, some dreams that were horrible, and actually one of them came true. When I was married and living in Seattle, um, she had a dream about one of our cousins who got killed by a serial killer, and they found her a few days later, and she dreamed all of it, and she was calling out her name,
Mm,
asking, "Help me." And I remember that so vividly because we got the call right after that that they had found her and she had been killed, and it was by a serial killer.
Mm, mm,
Yeah. So, yeah.
yeah.
My mom has those kind of dreams,
right.
and I don't know how she feels about it, but she sees things like that in her dreams. She writes them down too.
And see, and that's what I want. I
That's
want to understand my dreams. As Selima knows, I be going through some things in my dreams. I be getting shot and shit. I be falling off a cliff into an ocean and shit.
still you rise.
Right. This is the point. This is the point. People think that if they die in their dreams, they die in real life. I'm here to tell you, not all of us. I
Mhm.
mean, I can't say how many times I've died in my dream, but I never be dead. I just
Yeah.
I either keep moving in that scene, like with my gunshot, like holding my bullet hole or something. I told you one time I flagged the police down in my dream to tell them that somebody tell them who shot me, and they super didn't care. They didn't
Yeah.
care about going arresting anyone, and they didn't want to listen to me.
Mhm.
And I was at the police station trying to find anybody. Like, first, help me because I've been shot in my motherfucking face. And
Yeah.
second is because someone committed a crime. They shot me. So it just lets me know, like like in the real world, we probably we probably limit ourselves to a lot of shit that we could do. We don't do because we heard otherwise. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
I'm living proof to say I die in my dream all the damn time, and I wake up. And so and sometimes I watch my dream like it's a movie. Like if I have to get up and use the restroom, I'll be I'll command that I continue where I left off and wait till they get back to bed. And I do pick them up sometimes. I can't do it
Yeah.
at will, but I can do
Yeah.
it a lot. Okay.
Those reoccurring dreams, those
Yes.
things that
Yes.
happen over and over again, with more information. Yeah. I've had those. Yeah.
Also, my dreams all started out as nightmares, which I used to have all the damn time. And then I didn't like going to bed. I didn't
Mhm.
like having a dream. But recently my dreams kicked back in like full blast. And so yeah, I will go to bed for no reason, just to have a dream sometimes because it's as I'm expecting something juicy. And a lot of times it be happening. And then there's times when like I had an incident recently where the ceiling caved in the apartment where I stayed at. It was in my dreams, so to speak, that woke me up to go see what was happening because it would have been an electrical fire at the wall from all the water running down to my
Right.
apartment and shit. And so sometimes, I woke up from my little dream. I saw my bird staring right at me, and I'm like, "Well, what the fuck is that noise out there?" And once I went to go see, it was like things were not good. Had I stayed in my dream, it could have been a totally different outcome.
Right.
And so we measure these moments as we go through life about how big they are, and then we get our little whatever we were supposed to learn out of it,
Mhm.
and good. But again, our audience is y'all can see the chat, right?
Yeah.
I
Try to put most of them up, but they're on fire.
Yes, they are.
They are on fire. And here's one that I don't think I put up, the goddess original. She's saying she's spoiled in her world because it's hers. She always links that mind together, and
Mhm.
she wins at the end every time.
Mhm.
And that's your territory, Salima. I think the goddess original is in Detroit and shit. So
Yes. Yes.
a lot of the
Yeah.
high, it's a lot of high vibration goes on in Detroit, and you wouldn't know it
Well,
because
Detroit was created before the United States. Well, Detroit was already named Detroit before there was any.
is that right?
Yeah, think of if you learn your history, Detroit was already Detroit. A lot of the other places came after the United States started forming.
Hmm.
Detroit is one of the few places where we were already here and we were already Detroit.
No wonder so much greatness come from there.
So
I'm
the
telling
ley lines here are very
Motown,
powerful.
yeah, Motown, if nothing else, but the Apollo. Is the Apollo Detroit or New
No,
York?
that's New York.
Okay. But at the car lots, I mean, the big three car factories,
Yeah.
definitely.
you.
And then being Michigan, too, I said probably some of the greatest athletes come up out of there. Magic Johnson, for one, but
Some
it's
of the best
definitely
entertainers have
talent.
come from up out of here.
And I'm
Mhm.
from I grew up in Michigan, went to school there, so I'm a
Yeah.
fan, but I never been to Detroit yet.
But yeah, Detroit is older than the United
Mhm.
States.
Um,
Yeah.
So
You've
it's
been
a
there,
it's a
Sunday?
very
I didn't
powerful
know
area.
that. That's amazing.
It is. It is.
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna have to go pay it a visit. I think I owe it to myself to visit it since I'm already a
Mhm.
Michigan fan.
That's right, Cherie Reed L. Detroit is great. She's here. She's
You there
here.
too?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe you.
The
Detroit
goddess is here.
is
Cherie
right.
Reed, the goddess, yeah.
Okay, so we
Mhm.
actually, if you guys want to talk about anything, if you want to put any shouts out, we can go ahead and do that. We're sort of trying to keep our lives down to like an hour and a half or under 2 hours, just so we don't
Won't
put too
drain
much
everybody.
energy on yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask the goddess Charbet because you know me, I did let him know beforehand. I had questions from the previous lives.
Okay.
Okay, goddess, where were we? See, I took notes. Wait a minute. I'm trying to see him now. We
DJ.
talked about food when we were
Mhm.
talking about the keys to health, and
Mhm.
you brought
Mhm.
a great topic about why we have supermarkets with a health food section in it, and sitting the whole market be healthy.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
before we
I,
get off, can we just hit up on that topic before we let you go?
Go at it.
I definitely. You look at the layout. All the things that are not good for you are all in the middle, and all the things that are that are really good for you are all on the outside. If you can't smell your food, what is it? If you can't, the meat. If you're going to be a meat eater, because I don't have a problem with people that eat meat, I just don't. But when I figured it out, when I was outside of Walmart and I could smell the meat coming from uh, outside from the market, and I
You
could
talking about here,
smell,
right? In the
huh?
states? In the states?
No, I'm talking about in China. I've never smelt much coming out of the markets here,
Okay.
unless I go to like a farmers market, because I do most of my shopping at farmers markets, places that I know farms, but I don't. But when I go in a grocery store and I can smell nothing, I know there's something phony about that. The food, we should not have a section for health food. What is it? That doesn't make any sense. It's all supposed to be healthy, right? So
Right.
that's why when I look at I go, if I'm going to buy something within the inner section or the center of the store, I'm going to look for the least amount of ingredients in it. I'm going to look for, like I said, with the milk. If I like, if I'm going to buy it other than make it, um, I love cashew milk. I
Mhm.
want cashew milk and water and salt. That's it. If I can't find that, I'm not buying it. I'll just go home and make it. And that's how I shop, because everything else that they put in there is not good. It's not healthy. It takes that healthy thing and makes it into an unhealthy thing, even though they market it as organic, as you say, or
Right.
they market it as good for you. I found that in the milks, the cashew milks in the store, most of them, they have chemicals in them. And if they have to put vitamins in it, that means they took something out and put something artificial or chemical mostly in it. So, and that's what I found with my body, was rejecting all of these things that were going on. And I found that I was really healthy when I was in China, but I'd go to the market and I'd buy these fruits and vegetables that were so good. And I can actually taste them. I can actually taste the sweetness of them. And then
Mhm.
come back to the States and I'd pick up an orange and I couldn't even taste the orange in the orange, you
Wow.
know? So they've taken something that they did down here when I first moved down here, which was probably about 20 years ago. I was married, and I used to we drive these roads, and there were orchards. There were all kinds, orange, whatever.
Mhm.
And in the summertime, I could smell that. And something about the smell, the energy of that smell would get into my body, and I'd feel like a certain way. I'd feel good.
Mhm.
But then as they progressed, I guess you call it progression, with building out here, because now we have lots of people. Um, they tore them down, or they match male with male trees. And so they don't produce good fruit. In fact, it's bitter. And so they've done that. So they've chopped down all the citrus, because I was told if you have fruit or whatever in your backyard growing, you will never go hungry.
Mhm.
Well, they've taken that ability away from us, or at least they're trying to. So the
They
food
did it.
in the grocery stores it's not real. And questionable. I've seen Salima, I've seen your videos on organic before, verses I forgot, but I was like, she
Oregon.
got some points there. Yeah. It's like, so you have to be mindful of what you put in your body, and you're responsible. You're
Definitely.
responsible. And if you're not doing that, anything could happen to you. Any disease, cancer, we got a rise in cancer, you name it. Why is that?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're eating what they're giving us. We're a slave. You want to be free?
Uh,
Do it yourself. Make your
Woo.
own. Build what you can. Now, huh? Go ahead. I don't know if I can get plant as many trees as I want. I'm renting. I don't own my place, but I got a backyard where I'm going. The feeling that you get when you go in your backyard and you cut some Swiss chard and get tomatoes. And right now, I got some Japanese. Uh, what do you? I forgot what they were. But anyway, I got some stuff growing, vegetables, and I'm
mhm.
like, feeling that is. And then when you go into your your kitchen, and then you understand what you just did for yourself, and then you begin to cook with the mindset. It's the same as when I do my paintings. It comes from my soul. So when they say you put your foot in it, the real deal, your mindset while you're doing what you're doing. So it's a 360, I guess you would call it.
Mhm.
It's a whole mindset, changing your mind and then going for what you know, going and experiment. I call my kitchen my laboratory. I'm
Oh,
experimenting. Sometimes I get it right, sometimes I don't, but I keep trying. And when I finally get it down, then I'm going to bring it to the public, and I'm going to start demonstrating cooking. This is how you cook this to make it taste like this, if you want to, and not using any foreign stuff. I don't need
Right.
that. It
Right.
has everything you need. I was told that when you pick fruit, you pick it from the highest point of the tree, because that's where the sun
Mm.
has beamed down, and
Right.
everything that you need in there. We should not have to depend on these fake things. I used to buy, I call myself a vegetarian. I used to buy those substitute meats,
mhm.
for dogs and all of that. And I started reading after I myself and started loving myself. I read what was that stuff was, and I was literally killing myself.
Mhm.
Yes, we are.
So, yes, if you can't smell it, it's not real.
Right.
Damn.
Right.
Taste it. If you can't taste it, it's not real.
Mm.
That's just it. And make it yourself.
Wow.
Right. And that's what I was saying for on the organ versus organic, is that we often have to go back to organ food after we eat the organic food that the humans plant, because we don't be feeling good after we eat that stuff.
Right.
So now we're left in a state where you have to go back to organ. You're going to go drink dandelion tea if you want to detox. You're either going
Mm-hmm.
to drink the teas, the natural herbs of the realm, or you're going to go to the doctor.
Yes.
Get medication.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So
so
That.
when we talk about organ versus organic, we already know that when we mess around with too much organic food, you eventually have to go back to the organ food to get better. You're going to need your
Yes.
dandelion. You're going to need your burdock. You're going to need your elderberry. So those are
Mhm.
all our organ foods, but we are being taught that it's herbalism, that these are just herbs, and they're not. It is literally our nutrient intake. It is literally how we're supposed to eat.
Yep.
Mhm.
So that was the purpose of me raising the question to you guys about the health food section, because if this food is so good for you and they love to say that it's organic, why do
Mm,
we have these supplements to supplement the nutrition that the organic food is not giving us? And
yeah.
often, why are the what is called herbs part of what is considered the supplement to what the organic food is not giving us?
Right.
So gratitude for your answer. Yes.
I just love you. I want you to know
Um,
that.
We love you
oh,
too,
yeah,
guys. Love you.
that's what's up. That's
Yeah.
definitely up. And
Yeah.
so, the goddess
I'm learning.
original is still
I'm
at it. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Marco Power. Thank you. How do you have seedless organic grapes? That's a conundrum in itself.
right. Right. Yeah.
It said, hold up, sis. Cooking. Yeah, why do you feel they have female meat and male trees? I'll wait. It said the trees
Email.
are busting pollen nuts, and you wonder why you can't breathe. Wow.
Hmm.
Pollen nuts?
Hmm.
Well, because I brought this up also. Back in the day, when we used to plant, there were two seeds. You had a male and a female seeds. The watermelon is the perfect proof of that. There was a male and a female seed. Well, since they've
Yeah.
started grafting and genetically modifying the food, all of a sudden we have one seed. And usually the
Right.
one seed is male, which is not normal. You're supposed to have a male and a female seed so that your food will be balanced, which is why now
Yes.
we have these imbalances of hormones. Female women are eating mostly testosterone induced food from a one male seed, which is not normal. You're supposed to grow with a male and female seed. And if you don't believe me, look at the watermelon. It's perfect proof
Yep.
that it's healthy, good for you, and it has a male and a female seed. And we've stopped that for some. Well, we know why,
Hmm.
but what they're saying is true. It's a little derogatory, but yeah, what they're
Hmm.
saying is true. The agricultural system is now off kilter
Yes.
because now they want to create, like we say, one world that's not normal. It has to be the balance of the masculine and the feminine, and that even goes for the food. And
Right.
they're taking that away from the food. So we have to get back to growing food. And if we watch The Great Mother, her is masculine and feminine.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Oregon is a bad bama jamma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. You
And so,
you on it. You on it. That's the way it is. But I begin to, as like I said, I begin to recognize all these things as I begin to travel and say, wait,
mhm.
this is an orange. What was I doing back
Right.
in the States?
is
Wait.
are oranges not unique to, but don't they grow in China? And like apples from Japan or something like that. They're not ours. I
Uh,
thought I heard that.
I'm not
That
sure.
check it out
I'm,
for me one day.
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not sure. But I know that I ran into places in China where I can go up and pick a mango off the tree. So it was right there for you. And
Mhm.
I'm sure now I know what they send to us in the US. They may do something, I don't know. But
Right.
Mhm.
but there, and I would buy from the farmers there too, because they rambutan, their season is like a little hairy fruit with a little is you crack it open like an orange. It is In fact, it smells like it, and it's white with the seed in the middle, and it tastes so good. And they have a certain season, and you see them, the natives, lined up on the street selling it. And I'd get a bag full of gold and peel it. It's little bitty fruit about that big with like spikes coming out of it. But yeah, that food was good. I learned that even when I went to Madrid, the food tastes different.
Mm. Uh,
How about that? How about
yeah.
that? Don't tell.
Marco, he said that they only plant male trees in the U.S.
That's
In the
right.
cities.
That,
In the cities.
in the
If you
cities,
want to see
you know.
female trees, you got to go out in the country. You got to go to the national parks and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's that
Yeah,
serious?
They
it's that
try.
very.
Listen, have we are not been talking about the fallacy of this country?
Oh, yeah.
The phallus that they did. Listen, they really.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. They put them
Yeah,
all over the place.
right.
Monuments.
So
Yeah.
I also want to bring up an important point that that's one of the reasons why they have these seed banks. They took the original food seed from us and start giving us this grafted and genetically modified seed. So I
Hmm.
find it quite insulting when they come on the television and get this great display like, oh, they're giving this seed back to this
Hmm.
native people here and this, but they won't give us our seeds back.
Mm.
That's right.
And one of the reasons that we won't recognize ourselves as the original people here and that we're the reason that they're able to do this stuff because we taught them how to plant and grow.
Right.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
they have our original corn, they have our original corn. Those are that did not come with the Native Americans. Nope.
No.
That is that is natural here to the realm.
And the male
Yes.
tree release pollen. And so
Yes.
now we all have allergies. Or,
Yeah.
allergy like a cold. It's
Hmm.
crazy.
It is crazy. I try to get as many seeds. That's why I'm growing my own as I can from reputable or what I think is um, sellers of seeds, so that I can plant it myself and see if I can recreate that same thing. I've been looking for grape seeds. I did save some, but I don't know how real they are from when
Wow.
I finally found some here in Arizona, but they're like far and
Right.
few.
And
Right.
so you're saying if we do find some grapes with seeds, they could be suspect too? Like,
Yeah, just like the God has said, they found a way to genetically modify those as well, so it'll
Right.
regrow.
Well, the
So
best secret I could give you about the original seed is that for original grape seed, I know it's going to sound a little funny, but they actually look like the scrotum, the male scrotum.
okay.
It's like two bumps and a is they
okay.
don't look like they don't look like those fake little round seeds per se. It has a shape that's it's like a sexual organ almost.
Right.
How
Okay.
close to the
I
to
think
the
I
grapes is
understood.
the grapes?
I don't see.
How close to the grapes are the grapefruits?
They're very close in what they provide for you. See, we have a we they give us visual literacy. Like if they look the same, it's almost the same, or it's
Mm-hmm.
close, or it's the same. But
Mhm.
within our realm, there are things that don't look the same that are the same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
See, they what they do is they'll use the same word to mean different things.
Mm-hmm.
We have different foods that do the same things.
Mhm.
They all good for you. It's all beautiful. So the grape fruit is a grape. They just added the fruit onto you so you can understand that it was a grape because the skin doesn't make it look like
Mm-hmm.
fruit per se.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because grapefruit is my favorite fruit, but I didn't know how comparable it was to grapes until Yaki said, "You can't find grapes with seeds, eat grapefruit." And I was like, "Really? All right." Because that's how I would
Mhm.
go buy like an 8 pack of grapefruit from Walmart. They had those bags with like 8 grapefruit in it. And I'll eat one every day.
Mhm.
So
Right.
know that we can substitute the seedless grapes for grapefruit that actually does still have its seed, as far as I know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So yes, I love this. I love this, ladies. Thank you so much. This has been so wonderful
Yes.
and so powerful. I'm so glad. I'm sorry the goddess Jillian had to drop out tonight because
right.
Mhm.
I really wanted to get her perspective also on a few of these other topics. But
And
Mhm.
we definitely
gratitude.
have her back, definitely. And
Yeah,
you
and she
too, Sha-
lives there, right?
Florida, yeah,
Yeah, and then she's down there where the real deal is at. They have some
yeah,
Yeah,
real fruit there.
the real
Yes.
citrus. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah. So y'all all dropping the mic. Marco Power loves us. We love him too, and everybody in there. And they were really engaged in this conversation. So now we know what we got to do more of, right?
Yeah.
We gotta just talk from our experiences, from our
Mhm.
perspectives, and the audience. We engage them also. And yeah,
Yeah.
like Salima said, it's too bad Julia couldn't hang around, but it was a technical issue. And with that,
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna see if she'll make that up and come back in her busy
Yes.
schedule. You know? And we're
You
all
know what's
busy studying, if
mhm,
nothing else. Go ahead, Sharpay.
mhm.
You got some.
I was just going to say the beauty of this, you can tell the intention of the person by the conversation that they have with you. And it's all well intended, all helpful. And coming from you ladies, I don't
Oh,
like to say ladies, but goddesses, this is very special. And I don't mind coming on here because I know your heart is, you know what I mean?
that's right.
I can
gratitude.
see it. I can
Right.
see the light.
The feeling is
Yeah.
mutual.
That's
There you
right.
go.
It's mutual.
There's nothing else I'd rather be doing.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Mhm.
I'm gonna ask you guys out there one day for donations or support, whatever you have, whenever you can give. Otherwise than that, how about a like, share, and subscribe? For those who aren't subscribers yet, go to Yasini in the house where me and Salima live. Okay, and Charbay's over a lot now too, so we're gonna keep doing it, and we ain't gonna never run out of topics. I promise you, never.
That's right. There's
Right.
many things to talk about.
Yeah, it's our intention to bring more gods and goddesses to the platform that are going to expound and help us
Mhm.
grow
Yeah.
mentally, mindfully, bodily,
Balance us
soulfully.
out, balance us
Yes.
out, definitely. And
Yeah.
so, with that being said, um, y'all can say good night to the chat, and then we'll close this thing up.
Greetings and love, salutations. Good night. We love y'all.
Everybody,
Gratitude for your time and attention and for your knowledge, for sharing your knowledge with us on the panel. Y'all chat. We love y'all. Y'all some bad mofos.
oh yeah,
Yeah. For
anytime.
real. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed this. This has been the highlight of my week. I want you to know.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Gratitude.
I've been waiting all week long for Wednesday to come.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can do it like
Okay.
this, and we let y'all out in a decent time. Y'all only have to kick it with us for 2 hours, so come on back. We got some more for you. We're writing it up right now. All right. So peace and love. Chat the panel. We're out.
Yeah.